I'm with John Perkins, who has long experience in the digital inclusion field, first with BT and then over the past year with two initiatives in London boroughs. John, what were the initiatives and what did you learn?
Well, currently, David, at the moment, 1 in 4 people in the UK can't access the internet or use the skills that they need to do that effectively. That means that they can't keep in touch with friends and family, they can't look for work, and they can't follow hobbies and interests. So we set up 2 programmes, one in Croydon and one in Lewisham, to find new ways in which these types of people could engage. What we found was that with each of the projects, if we took a 3-strand approach, so we set up a series of digital zones with our corporate partners. These are light touch, mass engagement approaches through which people can turn up either as a one-off or as an ongoing regular appointment. So that was our kind of mass engagement approach. We then worked with the local authority and with community groups as well in order to actually get right into the heart of the community, exploit some of those situations where people were already engaging with other members of their local community and add the digital skills training onto that. And thirdly, we went into a approach of deep dives, working with certain niche groups, so homeless people, older people, those who are looking for work, and really tried to get under the skin of what the challenges were that they faced in their everyday lives through not having the internet and basic digital skills to use it, and finding ways in which we could enable them to take those first steps into the digital world.
So, pretty wide range of situations on the ground. And what did you find? Any surprises?
1 or 2 surprises. Certainly we found that working with the community groups, we found that just because we thought an idea was a really good one didn't necessarily resonate with them. We needed to do an awful lot more work than we expected to do in terms of co-design, not only with our partners, but also with the community groups with whom we worked. Equally surprisingly was the impact of going hyper-local. From our point of view, it really is a question of us going out into the community and making sure that we do things within a very easy walk or very short bus ride away from where people are. If we put something in the centre of Croydon or in the centre of Lewisham, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to turn up. And that goes hand in hand with motivation. It's very much a question of not talking about technology and not talking about Facebook or Twitter or social media or who's got the latest phone or tablet or laptop or whatever it might be. It's much more about what people want to do with it, and that message came through loud and clear. The other thing that surprised us a little bit was the way in which the word went round in terms of the ways in which people engage. We expected to do a lot more work through direct marketing, through leaflets and so on, and through posters. And that worked reasonably well. But what we found was really, really effective was the way in which word of mouth went round, particularly amongst certain communities, older people, and the homeless project that we did in partnership with Crisis and EE down in Croydon. Word goes round, and it's amazing how that jungle telegraph, as it were, really does help to engage people and bring them forward to show their interests, and gives them the confidence to take those first steps online because they've been told about it by somebody they know and somebody they trust.
So you've got to be where people are, with what people are interested in, and that's a lesson that people in community groups and development know very well, but they may not necessarily be terribly familiar with the technology. So how do you bridge the gap between the kind of community and people skills people and the technology skills people?
It's a question of having somebody there who has some degree of subject matter expertise, so our volunteer digital champions in both boroughs that were provided by some of our corporate partners, by some of the local community groups, etc., that we work with, having somebody there that knows their way around the technology and can instill that confidence in the people they're working with. But equally, it goes back to having a degree of trust. So, for example, the work that we did with Lloyds through the work they did in their digital zones, or DWP, where we did digital zones at job fairs, as just 2 examples, are ways in which people see that as, to use Lloyd's expression, trusted faces in local places. It really does come down to that.
So was this a good learning experience for the people in the organisations that you were working with, the corporates, council people?
It was. It gave them a real opportunity to tap into some voluntary activity. So these people weren't doing this as part of their day job. This was very much them saying, I want to help the people that come from the area in which I live and or work, and to tap into a little bit of their business expertise. Many of us, like you, like me, use technology without even giving it a second thought in our day-to-day lives. Actually being able to share that knowledge with somebody is hugely empowering, particularly in a volunteering situation, And the feedback that we had from our digital champions, as we've recorded in one or two cases in our report that we published last month, shows that it really does make them feel valued, and that's an important part of that equation, to have both sides of that equation in place.
I mean, there's quite a few initiatives going on in London and elsewhere, but they're not always terribly joined up. Do you think there's scope for making them more of the assets that we've got?
Massively, yeah. I think there is real scope there. I think we need a little bit of greater coordination, greater leadership in terms of the way that not only people work at a local level, be that local authorities or corporates who've got a large presence in that particular community, or even the community groups themselves. But I think there's an opportunity there for some political leadership, both with a large P and a small one, that says, we need to be better coordinated. And that applies also to those of us who are providing digital skills support to those people who want to take those first steps online. There's lots and lots of activity out there. The funding models at the moment tend to make us compete with each other rather than collaborate and cooperate. There is a sense of people wanting to do that, but we need to see the funding models change, etc., in order to really drive that behaviour home.
Any ideas on who might be at least the convener of getting these together, if not necessarily the ultimate connector?
I think it's going to be a combination of, to use a slightly cliche phrase, top down and bottom up. So in terms of the bottom up activities, communities coming to their local providers, be that ourselves or be that library services or whoever else that might be, and saying, we want to do something like this, or if there is already a community group in existence, adding that digital skills training to some of the work that they might already be doing in terms of bringing people together. From a political point of view, it's obviously a complicated landscape at the moment. I think that goes without saying. It would be great to see something London-wide, so the appointment of the Chief Digital Officer by our Mayor of London would be a fantastic step forward. But we also need to see that at a lower level as well. It would be great to see other local authorities building on the work that we've done to actually take things forward in their own local communities, in their own local areas, build on those foundations that we've put in place and make sure that they get the same benefits out to those community members that we've seen.